Hi and welcome to this little quick follow-up about how to send audio through OBS or Resolve to OBS through NDI. So what the tool doesn't do, what Nobe Display doesn't do is it doesn't do audio. So you have to deal with the separate lagging NDI feed where there's some kind of audio capture in OBS. So the first thing we need to make sure that the FPS match everywhere. So our project is set to 25. OBS is obviously set to 25 frames per second, and also Nobe Display in this case is set to, here we go. Oh, it's on the timeline, of course. It's also set to 25. So we have 25 frames per second all over, so we don't have an issue. The only problem is our screens technically run at like 60 hertz. So we're not really, we will get some like drop frames, and that's what you see with every 25 FPS content on the internet. So that's very normal for us to see that little stuttering. So yeah, if you do web videos, maybe consider doing 24 or 30 instead, because it fits better into the 60 hertz of everyone's monitors. Like even your phone doesn't matter where you are, or your MacBook runs at 60 hertz, even though you're in Europe with 50 hertz power supply. So that whole thing sort of is a bit wonky in today's times. So anyhow, we have this, and I'm using a clip from Catchin Sync that you can download, or you can make your own. It's basically a bunch of beep tones. They just beep, and you have a visual reference with it. So if I play this back, you will not hear anything, but you get the idea. Every time those two line up, there's a beep. So like right there. And what they actually have is a nice iPhone app that you can use, that you can download and then film your screen in high frame rate, and then it will actually tell you the exact offset of audio and video. But we're not going to bother with any of this. We're just going to do it like stupid simple, so you get the idea, and then you can go in and like fine tune it to the most perfect details. But so what we need to do is, in order to first of all send audio to OBS, is in OBS you need to define an audio output capture device. So an audio output capture device captures the audio output, right? So in my case, Resolve is using the Steinbeck CL1 interface that I have connected to my speakers. So that's what we're gonna use. And yeah, we're gonna capture that output. So whatever Resolve puts out, we're gonna get into OBS. And you can see that if I play it back here, let me go in here, you can see that there's audio coming in. And the reason why I'm not hearing anything, because I have this actually muted. If I turn it back on, I got a hardware knob here, that can adjust that. So why do I not want to hear this? Because I want to listen to the audio coming out of the stream. Now, OBS has audio monitoring, so technically you can go into here and be like audio monitoring off or on. The problem is that this audio monitoring comes before the sync offset. So yeah, that's basically also where you define the sync offset. We're gonna do in a second. So yeah, here you can basically offset the sync of the audio by whatever milliseconds you want, and then you can monitor this. But if you monitor it, you won't hear the offset. So you can put in like 5 seconds and you will not hear this. It's a bit of a bummer. So what we use, or what I use, is I set up my audio to just use the speakers of my screen, because the screen gets video, it now gets the audio at the same time, and I hope that my screen is actually capable of giving them out in sync, or I assume that it would. And because it's also, if you have like a professional broadcast monitor, it usually has a line out or something, so it takes the audio from HDMI that carries the video signal as well, and then gives you a perfectly in sync signal back. Or if you use a TV, you can do the same thing. It usually has a headphone jack out that you can just use to get proper sync in your suite, but or use like the audio return channel stuff. But basically for streaming, what we need to make sure is that the stuff that comes into OBS is sync. And as we see here, it's not really like, even just a Nobe Display, it's not perfect. There's some lag. And then if you look at what actually happens in OBS, you see there's a bit more lag. It's not crazy, and that's because what I did is I actually already activated the low latency mode in the NDI input in OBS. So if you put this on normal, it's very bad. So let's just do that. It needs a while to just come. Here we go. You can see how badly async it is, right? And we don't want that. So let's go back into here. And I think it says experimental because NDI is like made to work over network, so you can send a video signal from one computer to the other. We're just doing it inside the computer, so I'm not seeing a problem, and I've never really had a problem with the low mode anyhow. So that's cool. And then we're gonna press play and just have a look. Yeah, and you can still see it's a couple of frames off. But then how do we monitor for this, right? As I said, I'm gonna monitor this my screen audio instead of the one that I'm actually using for my proper output, or another one that I'm capturing. Basically, it's a bit. I hope that isn't too crazy. So what we do here, I'm actually sending a stream right now to my own website. There's very low delay system for playing back. So if I press play here, we can go on my website and get the live stream here going, and then actually hear the beeps. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I actually want to, just to make sure, right? I want to have a bit of a longer pause because I might have just hit like the perfect wave, you know, so I always hit the next one with the offset that I have. I want to make sure that I don't have that. So let's go back to the website, press play here. Yeah. And it's a bit all over the place. It isn't bad. Like I've seen almost as bad just on like TVs. I mean, getting this with the sync, so maybe that works better for you if you just see somebody like talking or something like that. But you get the idea, right? You can then adjust the sync to just whatever you want, and you can obviously type in negative numbers as well. So you can do, well, I think so you can. No, you cannot. Yeah, because negative would mean like pushing the video back, or forward in time, which makes no sense. So 500 milliseconds, so half a second of delay is what I'm setting here. So that means the audio comes 500 milliseconds or half a second later. So yeah, but that's basically how you monitor this. Yeah, now it's off. So you can see now it's off. So the low delay mode helps amazingly well. And what I actually figured out is I actually used the app and I was at like 12 milliseconds of delay that I needed for what I have here. So again, you know, you're most likely not going to be able to see like 10 milliseconds. Most likely not. But you will, you know, definitely when you see somebody speaking, that's where your brain recognizes stuff is off. Actually, for people that watch a lot of dub movies, like here in Germany, they actually don't really notice that when they watch a movie. It's quite interesting. Like you see somebody speak and it's like completely off, and you know their brain just shuts it off because they're so used to seeing this dubbed stuff. So yeah, that's basically how you do sound from Resolve. And you know this all, what, you know, obviously the names of everything that will be specific to what you kind of have in your system, and it will be, you know, but you set it up once and then you just forget about it, so that's cool. Yeah, let's actually close this. So this is awesome. I hope this helped you a bit on how to stream audio from OBS or through Resolve and getting it in sync. Yeah, have a good one. And oh, by the way, you can also use like custom delay plugins as well. You can like load in VST plugins into Resolve, and you actually monitor them. So there's a bunch of solutions where you download a delay VST and just load that in, and then you can monitor right in OBS. But to be honest, like the stream I have, for example, is like a second of delay to the internet, so I can monitor this quite quickly just by seeing the actual stream, and then I can try the same stream on like an iPad where I know that the audio and video is probably going to be in sync, because you know sometimes you have like audio driver issues, and especially on Windows and Linux, those things are a bit of a mess. And Core Audio, for everybody that does audio, is, you know, there's a reason why most people use Macs in audio engineering. Just simply the audio drivers are just worlds better in my opinion, or at least they were when I was doing a bunch of audio. So Have a good one, and I hope it helped. I hope you get a nice stream out to your clients or to your friends or whatever, and have a great day.